know that there's going to be sort of a got you moment, and looks like we found it with the exclusion this time of burpees and box jumps. What we do have here is a conditioning test, right, of thrusters, rowing, 72 total rowing calories, 72 total thrusters. So this is going to have an entirely different characteristic than a lot of the other workouts we've seen this year, right? I think that last week I mentioned that a lot of the previous workouts have felt more like muscle endurance tests, right? You're sort of standing there, shaking your arms out, waiting to do another chest to bar pull up. Abs are blown up trying to do another toes to bar, or grip is shot, or you're looking at the wall, like I can't put my arms over my head, I'm not ready to go back up for another handstand push up. What we're going to see this week, though, for athletes who are on the higher end of fitness, is this is going to be a much nastier workout that's going to be limited more by how fast are you going, what's your cycle time, what's your transition time, right? And that characteristic is going to be much more different than at what point do you break down, how many reps of chest to bar pull-ups can you do before you can't just actually do another one. So we're going to see here is that pace on the rower is going to matter, right? The rower is not just a placeholder on this workout. Pace on the thruster is going to matter, right? It's not just get your reps done and try not to fall apart. It's going to be how quickly can you actually get through this work, and it's probably going to be limited more by conditioning for higher end athletes. We do have this kind of combo of rowing and a thruster, which is a lot of repeated knee flexion movement, right? You're just basically hammering that knee flexion on the rower, boom, boom, boom. Then you get off, you get to do the same thing again on the thruster. So some people may run into kind of that, quads are blown up, they're not able to keep it going. So as you guys think about strategizing this thing, there's not necessarily this is the perfect strategy for this workout. What you need to think about is how are those thrusters going to feel for you, right? Are you going to be able to do them unbroken quickly? Are you going to be able to do them unbroken if you go a little bit slower in pace? That little pause up top, then go to the next one, pause up top, then go to the next one. Is the rower something that you're going to have to kind of recover from the thrusters on, or are you going to be able to push the pace just a little bit? So anytime we sort of think about what is the best way to pace here, the goal is basically to avoid a massive drop off, right? So, for each person, the optimal pace on the rower is going to be different. The optimal fractioning of the thrusters, if that's going to happen, is going to be different. But your goal needs to be, how can I keep the pace on my set of 9, and probably even more the set of 15, so that's kind of where things might get a little bit dicey. How can I keep my pace on the set of 15 as close as possible to my pace on the set of 27, right? And this is a workout that you're going to be able to redo, right? 72 reps of each. That's something that you're going to be able to recover from and potentially hit this, 2 times, maybe even 3 times if you're a bubble athlete over the next few days. So be cognizant of that. Goal is not to fall apart here, right? Pace on the rower, kind of based upon, you should have an intuition at this point of what kind of pace you can hold for a calorie row. We saw Sam and Annie were hammering that thing, right? I saw Sam was in the 1300s to start with. Annie was off the rower faster than her, and then I think Sam was holding something in the 12s, and Annie was holding something in the 11s as they were going, which is a pretty fast row pace, right? So obviously bigger athletes are going to have an advantage on the rower. You little guys, it's something, not necessarily ideal in terms of luck of the draw relative to the test, but trying to make up time on the rower, blowing yourself up is not going to be the way to counteract that, right? So what we're basically looking at here is, how do I pace this optimally so that my set of 15 does not fall apart and get way slower in terms of row pace, cycle time, etc., relative to my set of 27. The 9, you're going to be able to kind of gun it at the end. And the other thing that's really interesting here is we haven't really seen something like this that's been that test of, output conditioning, like I'm going to win because I just go faster versus I'm going to win because I didn't break down, once I hit my 80th handstand push-up or what have you. So hopefully you guys have been following some of this, interval conditioning, lactate in the blood type of stuff, because that's where this is going to actually come in handy this year. Take a look below for some more info on training with Train Heroic, and good luck, especially if you guys are doing this one multiple times.